Hello, my friends. I just wanted to give you a quick update about our situation in Iquitos, Peru. A lot of you have been asking on Facebook. I've been trying to post some things that were just updates and anecdotal things from our staff and from some of the people in the community. Every day we're getting reports from the government about what has changed, and it's changing every day. Newer guidelines, different restrictions, different freedoms that the people will have or not have, uh, dictating whether or not they can leave their house, if they can go downtown to the bank, to the shopping, what kind of transportation can be used. So I just wanted to update you real quick, and I'll put some pictures into this video as we go, just as you can see some visual representations along the way. But the reality of it is they're in a military lockdown. All of the people in our organization are okay at this point because we've got them sequestered in our headquarter facility or in their homes. The girls out at Poppy's house, our crisis center for abandoned and abused girls, for those of you who aren't aware, they're okay. We've got space. We've got some provisions out there for them, and the directors are there living on the campus, and so that's okay. The problem is that everybody is cut off from a food supply. The food comes into the city down in the port, which is the other end of the city from us. Some of the stores downtown are getting restocked, and the people in that area have access. But for those of us out on the far edge of town, no. There are military blockades. You have to show a specific reason why you're going downtown, even to go to the bank. And the problem is, if you're going to go to the bank, you're going to stand in line for hours waiting to get seen. So the government has released some money to the poor people. The problem is the poorest of the poor don't have the ID numbers, therefore they're not receiving that money. So what's happening now in Iquitos is when people little by little are completely running out of food, running out of money, because they work on a day-to-day basis. So many of the impoverished people that we work for, they work in the early hours of the morning to get enough food to feed their family those morning meals. Then they come back home, bring some supplies, and they head back out to work for the rest of the day. As soon as the government locked them down and they weren't able to leave their homes except for a couple hours a week shopping, that was it. No work, no money, no food. There are people now that are hanging out white flags to indicate to anybody passing by that they're out of food. That's kind of the universal sign now. Somebody started that down in Iquitos, and it's caught on. So there are people now that, as they're running out of food, they're putting up a white flag hanging out saying simply, "We have no food." Thousands and thousands of families have no food. We're out on the edge of town. We've been strategizing for the last week about how we can get supplies to our facility so that we can start distributing food to individuals, at least in the communities where our staff live, because they know the people in their communities that need the most help. The poor people that we really, really need to help, because they have no birth documents, they have no bank accounts. If they have no birth documents or bank accounts, then the government isn't able to even give their tiny little stimulus check that they passed out here a few weeks ago. And for those that did receive it, I'm sure it was a blessing, but I can tell you that the supplies that little dollar amount purchased are long gone. And there are people that have that money in their account that can't get to the bank to get it. It's too far away. You have to pay now, where it used to cost 10 soles, so $3 by motor car to get downtown. Now they're charging 100 soles for the people that have the permission to transport. And so, and what you have to do is you take the motor car up to the police and military barricade, then you have to get out, walk for a ways, and then pick up another motor car to get the rest of the way to the downtown sector. So they're kind of dividing things up by community. And you have some movement, some freedom within your community, but they don't want you to cross. So those of us that live out in San Juan, it's very, very difficult to get to downtown to the Berlin district where most of the stores are. And that's the issue we're having right now. So we are receiving some help from some of you back home, and thank you so much. Those of you who want to help us, please, if there was ever a time, it's now. For every one person who was impoverished and suffering before this virus hit, there are thousands. There are people who were doing just fine a few weeks ago, and now hanging white flags out of their house because they have nothing to feed their children. So thank you, my friends, for listening for these few minutes. I'll try to do short updates as things come along that I think you may need to know or want to know. We appreciate your prayers. We certainly appreciate your financial support. I'll put a link in here somewhere in the post so that if you want to help us with an emergency food distribution, we've started the fund. We're starting to raise the money. We're strategizing. We've already got some people that are able to distribute some food on some very small basis, but we're working on a larger truckload of food to be delivered to our facility where our staff will break that down, bag it up, and then we will send those individual family food bags with our workers. The government has given all businesses and organizations the freedom to not pay your workers. First they said, well, half pay. And then they said, well, you don't have to pay them at all. We're going to open up their retirement accounts. If they need money, they can use the retirement, even though they're not supposed to touch that until a certain age. But here's the problem. Again, most of the people that need help don't have jobs where they've had employee benefits. Most of the people that really need help don't have the ID number or the bank account to receive any kind of help from the government, and they certainly don't have a retirement to draw from. So I'm happy to tell you that because of the support from our people back in the States, that we're able to pay our staff. We're still paying a full-time salary. All of them have been very gracious in indicating that they were going to share what they can outside the walls of their own homes to the people in their community. In addition to that, we'll be sending food supplies with them specifically to distribute. Wherever there was a need before, there's a need now that's 100-fold. So this is the time that we really need to step up, and we need your help. I'll keep you informed. We'll let you know our progress. We'll post some pictures of some families that are receiving this food. You'll see the gratitude and the thankfulness on their face, and you will know that you were a part of that. Thank you so much for your prayers, your support, your encouragement. We will stay committed to our original calling, the thing that took us to Iquitos, Peru 20 years ago. We're there to serve. We're there to help. We're there to give a voice and support to those who have no other options. Where there was one before, there's 1,000 now. So keep us in your prayers. I'll keep you posted.